And
morning, everyone. We'll call to order this morning the County Industrial Development Board meeting for May 5th. First order of business is a public hearing for the CHPELC, which is the community, maybe the Schenectady, Hudson Power. Right, exactly. So I guess we'll call that public hearing. That what's happening? Okay. Call the public hearing to order. Any comments? Comments from the public?
everybody can hear us, okay? Can you hear now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Perfect. Let's take just a second to make sure everybody is on the phone. Comments and comments submitted.
We didn't receive any comments. We did get some inquiries on the project material, so they were sent out. So we'll let our representative, Mayor, but no comments.
You're good there. Well, hearing no comments, then I guess we'll close the public hearing. With that, we'll call to order the May 5th, 2021 board meeting of the Schenectady County Industrial Development Agency. May I have a motion in a second to approve the minutes of the March 5th meeting?
So I'll make the motion.
Second. Favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Second item on our agenda this morning is our treasurer's report. If I could have a motion in a second, and I will ask Jamie to bring us up to date on where we are.
Okay.
Seconded. Discuss it, and then I'll ask.
Okay. We have 3 months of activity on this month's report. You'll see the project income up to $140,000. We did receive our final Madisonville solar, just getting underway. You'll see the expenditures to Metroplex for its portion of the fees, and our audit fees came in. Cash on hand is $310,504, and you'll see the report on activity for the first 3 months. Not a lot, but we're in a good cash situation with anybody.
collected $53,000 and change fee.
Oh, that's right.
With the balance of another 50 to be paid by August 1st. Project is underway, redevelopment, so that'll be shown in our next strong cash with it.
Yeah, if you add those two to the cash on hand, it's pretty strong. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Next resolution is Active Solar Development LLC, a Rotterdam solar project. This is resolution 500-21, and we're asking to hold a public hearing, commence the pilot deviation process.
I'll make the motion.
Made by Mr. Yep, and seconded by Mr. Gardner. Yep. A little bit about this.
Right, so we have an application in for another solar project in Rotterdam. You may have read a little bit about this in the local news. The city sold a surplus property that was located in the town of Rotterdam. So there is a purchase agreement in place with the developer. It's a landlocked parcel off of Gordon Road, next to a natural grid substation. So they're proposing a $12.5 million project, 7.68 megawatt solar, both of the project. There's kind of two phases to it. They're requesting a pilot. The resolution calls for holding a public hearing in the town of Rotterdam, as well as commencing the pilot deviation process. You may remember from the Pattersonville solar project, they kind of rolls through a series of ownership changes. So they have it pretty well structured that the owner will be an entity called Brookfield Renewable US. So eventually that's what we'll be with at the end of the day. The local approval process is just getting started. The Rotterdam Planning Commission is acting a seeker review. So when all this comes together, we'll hold a public hearing.
I'd just like to thank David for his help on this, his leadership on this. Again, an interesting project. This was a site that the city purchased years and years ago for a water tower. That was, the city has no use for the land, so they gained $500 to sell a property. It's not suitable for other types of development. It's right there on major transmission lines, so it works really well for solar. The pilot is $4,000. We see 1%. Project and saving my goal.
Parcels that's been sitting out there.
No,
Generated
good time with COVID. We talked about this at the county, and you folks at the county, let's talk about this. Taking underperforming or not. And doing something, but it's a good time because since you can if you have an asset.
Any questions or comments from Paul? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Our next resolution is 501-21, JRC of Rotterdam project. This involves some sales tax benefits to sales tax state. We have a motion and a second, and I'm going to ask Jamie and Ray to explain this because it gets a little.
I'll make the motion.
Makes the motion, Mr. Gardner. Second. This requires a little conversation, so everybody understands what we're doing.
All right, so you may remember this project from late 2019. The Melosi's were converting the banquet facility to a senior care project, which the renovation moved along into 2020, moved along successfully. Everything has been completed. As part of the IDA's annual reporting requirements, we receive certain information from all of our projects on jobs and use of sales tax pilot information. All of that is confirmed. And what we came across when we collected this information earlier this year is that under the project agreement, which is one of the many documents that get signed on an IDA project, the sales tax benefit was quantified as $35,000. Their reporting, the Velocity's reporting, shows that the benefits total $47,682. So they exceeded that amount. And it's something that we take pretty seriously. Many times we have the applications amended and modified to make sure we put in a number that works. We can talk about what happened in this case. But in any event, that difference of $12,682 basically got more benefit than they were supposed to get under the project agreement, and what's also required by state law and under our uniform tax exemption policy. So our policy calls for that the state portion of it, half of that, $6,341, needs to be repaid by the developer to the IDA, who will pay the tax department in process. The resolution before us today would waive the county portion, which is the same amount of $6,341. So there would be no recapture of the sales tax from the Velocity's, in that we think they acted in good faith. This wasn't something that they were really trying to stiff anybody on. We caught them red-handed. All because of our annual reporting to the state, all this has already been reported to New York State. So we're looking just to sort of finally resolve this matter and take care of it. And questions I have.
I can, Mr. Chairman, just like to make a few additional comments. The Velocity's have great track record in the county, operate a major food manufacturer, private facility around in Portland Park, operate Tie, operate Johnny's, operate a major mall operation, the casino, and subleasing the Coco. This project is a smashing success. I think we're going to see more of this where facilities, restaurant bank facilities are going to transition into two uses, given COVID and the shortage of restaurant workers. And this was converted into this Care senior program, a multi-million-dollar special operation, and program is a spectacular program. Simply stay in their homes and not go to skilled nursing. Turnkey program, they pick folks up, they bring them to the doctor's appointments, they bring them to this facility, bring them home. It's an incredible service. It's very difficult to predict how much these projects are going to cost. We do a pretty good job, doing estimates, getting kids, but it's very difficult. And so here you have a situation where they forecast the sales tax exemption would be worth $35,000 and wound up being worth $7,682. Jamie keeps meticulous books with Maureen. This was reported to the state. So they got more sales tax benefits. So this is a fairly new change from the state that you have to forecast this now.
I like to prepare an annual report, correct?
Right, and this is the first example of a case where we.
Certainly for us, if we're talking about Connie, it doesn't something that happens very often.
Right.
Something that we definitely want to protect our developer from.
But a great developer, a great project, great reuse of the banquet facility into something that is a real asset for the county and for the town of Rotterdam. And again, 6,000 state and the county to 6,340. See fee on this project as well. So
Any questions or comments from any of them?
Like a good idea.
May I ask a question? I'm just trying to understand exactly how this happened. Was there a misunderstanding of the terms, or would the developer have been approved for a larger tax benefit up front? Was it just like the estimation was a little off, or?
yeah, they guessed wrong on their pricing. I mean, and again, especially now with material costs going up as much as they are almost on a daily basis, it's very difficult to guess.
Sorry.
Know what that was.
Someone needs to mute.
So basically, Sarah May, is exactly, they just, they said at the beginning of the job, they have their bids, their quotes, they have their estimates, and, they estimated that the exemption would be worth $35,000 and one coming in a little higher. You know, a small differential on $1 million plus renovation. And you never know what you're going to discover as you turn a banquet house into a senior care facility. You're always going to run into unexpected issues, you know. The other thing about this project is it allowed the senior care facility to relocate out of downtown where they had outgrown the space, setting the stage for a $20-some million project at 500 State Street, which is being converted into space. So that's another benefit of this project, a sidebar benefit. But yeah, it's just a matter of estimating. We do this every day. We estimate what projects are going to come in at, and to be honest, it's an estimate, and sometimes the costs come in higher.
So if you estimate a little bit high and they don't use it, then there's the alarm will fall.
Right, and that's usually what we advise, is they be very cautious and conservative about it. This project closed in a real hurry. It was around the holiday season. And normally we would ask for a modification of the application if we thought it was necessary. This was a fairly small scale project considering any that we deal with. So the guest room is very sensitive. They may have some bookkeeping issues, is kind of what we've heard, but in any event, they're willing to make the payment.
Again, the key is that it was an honest mistake, you know, it wasn't anything completely above board, and our meticulous record keeping identified this. As Jamie said, they actually transitioned for a bit. They actually had a temporary facility at the Rotterdam Corporate Park. As they needed to get out of this facility downtown, they make the relocation. So it was a little bit of pressure everyone was under to get the banquet house rehab for medical care. I think it's a great addition to that corner in Rotterdam to the town.
Really tremendous service to the public.
Yeah.
Any other questions? I believe we have a motion in a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Moving on to resolution 50221. This is Schenectady Development LLC and the office building. And this is an authorization to extend the payment in lieu of tax agreement to February 28th, 2022.
Right, so it's a pretty minor action on our part, but we are looking just to make sure the pilot is consistent with all the other pilots. This was done quite a while ago. So the pilot is, the resolution just calls for the pilot to be extended from October 31st to 28th, and then the pilot will terminate.
Okay.
I'll make the motion.
Thanks a motion. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Gardner. Any questions or comments? What we're doing? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Our last item is resolution 503-21, and this is a license agreement and an allocation of IDA funds for property maintenance with Schenectady County. I get a motion in a second and then some discussion. All over. By Mr. Gardner, second by Mr. Christow. Jamie, can you explain what we're doing, and then I have something I want to say.
Okay. Anyone who pays attention to the work of the Metroplex Authority knows that we take cleaning up and fixing up the downtown area seriously. We have a long-standing relationship with the DSIC for cleaning up the downtown area, just sweeping litter, trash downtown. Always looks good. I think they do a very good job of it. And we have a team at Metroplex that works on our parking lots as well and make sure that they're landscaped, the flower planting that right now, weed pulling, trimming everything, and so we keep expanding the work that goes on. Downtown library was identified last fall as an area that needed a little bit more attention. It had been closed for a good part of the year, so that was too bad. But working with the foundation there, we are moving ahead on some plans. And then the other is the business center, and business center periodically we work hand in hand with the county to do some exterior cleanup. A lot of it's just trash pickup, but the street it needs, I think, more attention. The good news is that we recently entered into a long-term lease extension with Sepview. They're kind of the anchor of the facility there. Facility it's full, and one of the things they raised was, could we do more, make the place look? So taking that seriously. We would like to do some regular plantings, mulching, regular cleanup on a weekly basis. What this resolution does is it would give the agency the authorization to perform this work. And then we've identified three different units to help us kind of spread the work around: the DSIC, Bardstead Enterprise, who does work both for the city IDA as well as Metroplex on our snow removal program, and then Mike Gayo, who's kind of a handyman that we have doing different kinds of work. We got quotes from all of them. The procurement policy allows us to enter into agreement under $15,000. So we have a record of their hourly pricing. We would keep it all less than $15,000 a piece, and we're looking for an allocation of $30,000 to perform this work on county property.
I think there's been some, on Albany Street, there's been some remarkable new development going on, and I think this will help just keep the whole corridor on the upswing. So,
did I hear something? Well, I'm going to support this because I think it's important. I understand the relationship between the development team and the business center. I think it's somewhat unusual that we have to do this type of work on one of the branch libraries. It's well within the county's capability to keep all of its buildings in a lot better condition than they do. And that's my comment as chair of the IDA, and I'll switch hats and say that as a member of the legislature, approving that process at the county is something that I assume we get in the budget this year. Having said all of that, any other comments?
I just want to thank Jennifer for all her hard work on the center. As Jamie said, it's almost 100% occupancy. Jennifer's and it's worked very well. It's a success story on Hampton Hill.
We do. The business center is sort of a stepchild that we took on, and we're raising it well.
no, we didn't take it on. It was created by the county.
Oh, no, but that's hence the stepchild discussion.
No, it's a child.
It's a child. Okay. We have complete custody of the
Now it's in foster care.
and we're doing well with it. So that's good. Any other questions or comments on this last item? Hearing none. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any other business?
Can we zero in on the next date or expected date? Jamie, with the Champlain project, or we that premature? Or a rough estimate of when we need.
Yeah, on the Chippy project, we do need to hold a public hearing, which requires 20 days advance notice. We are materials on that, and then we would set the meeting date. That would probably be sometime in June. Date, and sort of start looking at
It's the usual email method.
yeah. I mean, we'll be deciding that
We'll
fairly.
need to meet again in June.
We're meeting again probably the third week of June.
Okay.
Exciting project. Other business. Hearing none, can I have a motion?
I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Gardner. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, board meeting.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks to everyone.
Everybody's
Goodbye.